Hello, welcome to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the brand new Ford Explorer. And it is from America and it is massive. And it is invading Europe. And in this review I'm going to find out if this is a way of cheating taxes and the government or if it actually has some real substance. What are the headlines? What is this car all about? Well, it is the hybrid system apart from being a massive SUV. And underneath this massive brace, all these electrical pipes, wires and everything, lies a 3-liter V6. And it's coupled with an electric engine, so the combined output is 457 horsepower and 825 newton meters. And it does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6 seconds flat. That is impressive for a car that weighs 2.5 tons. And of course it has an electric battery to power that electric engine. And that is 13.6 kilowatt hours. And according to VLTP numbers, this car should be able to do about 40 kilometers on pure EV. This actually has some active aero. And what do you wonder by active aero? Well, if the car needs to breathe more, the grille will open up or it will be closed for better aerodynamics. Simple as that, pretty clever, has been used in a lot of other cars, but this is the first time I've seen it in a Ford. And if we go over here to the side, these tires are really large. And the rims are 20-inch, but they look tiny in comparison to this massive wheel arch. It is truly massive. And that is because this entire car is massive. I mean, it's over 5 meters long, over 2 meters wide, and being able to fit in the average European household garage, I think will be quite a difficult task. At least for me, I had to put in the side view mirrors. That is how large it is. Let's talk about the design of this Ford Explorer. And it is evidently rather American. You can see that people in America would drive a car with this design. But they've been pretty clever at hiding the size of it. If you come here and go to the side, you can see that this is not where the door ends. It is actually down here. So when you open it up, when you step in, you won't have dirty caps. Pretty cool detail, pretty clever design. But look at this little panel gap. It might look tiny, but I see it every time. And if you would buy this car, I think that you would too. If you go to the rear, this is the plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive. Yeah, it is 4-wheel drive. And I'll talk about more how the car handles and everything like that when I get into the car and drive. For exhaust tips, pretty small, looks really small in comparison with the backside, but it is what it is. It is rather powerful in the end. The opening or the button for the rear trunk is located here with a really tiny triangle. Everyone that I have driven in this car always try to find it around here, but it is actually here. Why they did it, I think it's because they need the rear view camera in the center for some reason. And this is actually a car with 7 seats. And when you have the rear seats folded down, you have a lot of room to play with. I mean, we have our camera equipment here. But there are buttons inside which you can use to electrically open or put the rear seats up. Pretty smart, so you don't have to put yourself forward and drag them out. So, yeah, it is a big car, but you have to choose. Either you have a lot of room in the back and a lot of storage, or you have little amount of room here and 2 seats in the back. And to get into the back, there's very simple flaps that you pull. That makes this fall down really aggressively, and then you can pull it forward. And then you get into the rear rather easily. And it makes it possible to slide this seat both forward and backward. Quite a lot of force is needed to be applied here. And how do I sit here? Well, a lot of knee and foot space. No question about it. But this is one of the most American interiors that I've been in. This is the ST line edition, which means that you have red stitching and dark leather. But the seats, they're so soft and wide, and when you go into a corner, you just slide about. It is not an American competitor in that sense. And I personally don't think that this is up to par, the interior, both in terms of quality, design. It is just not up to par with German, Japanese, other competitors. I mean, everything is just cheap plastic. I mean, it feels solid, but still cheap plastic. And the sense or the perceived quality is not good at all. Instead of having a normal stick to change gear, you have a wheel from park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual. Yes, you have paddles behind the steering wheel to change gear. In a 10-speed automatic transmission for a non-performance car, well, it doesn't make sense, but it is here. Anyway, you have controls for the EV, so to charge it or to let the car use the available charge, you use this EV button. You have 7 drive modes, from sport to normal to eco to off-road driving. You even have downhill speed assist, and of course parking. It takes forever to boot this infotainment system, and I mean, it is quite responsive, but sometimes it just hangs itself, and it's just frustrating. And I'm now driving the Ford Explorer, and let me tell you, it is a big car. It feels like it is a big car. It is soft, but in the same time pretty stiff. It is not that compliant over bumps and unevenness on the road. And the gearbox is a 10-speed, as I said before, but that gearbox is geared towards being as smooth as possible. Trying to drive more quickly or being aggressive with the throttle is not this car's forte. It feels uncomfortable doing it. So just put it into comfort and let the car drive and be the big car that it is. Because even though it has a lot of horsepower and it is four-wheel drive and everything, it is not dynamic, it is not poised. The steering is way too numb to give you any sort of confidence. So let's put the car in sport and let's feel those 457 horsepower. Hold on. It moves. It really moves. It is a special feeling having 2.5 tons move that fast. So what is the purpose of this Ford Explorer? I mean, it won't sell that good in Europe because it is too big for European roads, for European standards. And yes, it makes economic sense when you look at least in Sweden, with the price of 40 euros per year in taxes. But just look at the competition, what you get interior, and look at the whole package. What is the purpose of this Ford Explorer? I don't know why. I don't know what the purpose of this is. And Ford did the Ford Edge. They had it for a few years, but then they discontinued it for European markets. And that's the same thing that I think will happen with this Ford Explorer. And that's my final review for this Ford Explorer. See you next time.